And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Up first, we've got a couple areas with winter weather advisories out. First one here until 9 p.m. this evening for Nunivak Island and the Kuskokwim Delta coastline north of Kipnuk there for additional snows until 9, and then it'll lighten up or end after that time. And for the Copper River Basin over here, winter weather advisory out for the entire night tonight here that extends right on down into northeast Prince William Sound, Valdez, Cordova for several inches of snow expected, and that's out until 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Otherwise, on the satellite imagery here, main feature stands out quite vividly, that big storm out over the Bering Sea at the center there, just east of Shemya. And this front pushing eastward, bringing precipitation into the eastern Aleutians up toward the Pribilof Islands with the gale and storm force winds back to the west there around that center. Otherwise, we've got moisture coming back to the north here with upper level low pulling westward there. And so the flow becoming more southerly actually now, as you can see here in the latter frames, portion of this front getting caught up and pulled westward here as the other portion slides off to the northwest. So areas of light snow over the Copper River Basin today up into the eastern upper Tanana Valley area to the Alaska Range to some extent there. Not some of that getting north of the mountain, actually increasing moisture coming around with that southerly flow there, pulling it up into the eastern interior. And light rain and snow going on at Homer this afternoon, light snow at Seward. And also back to the west here near the Alaska Range. Mostly dry conditions over the southeast coast today, although some freezing drizzle around the Juneau area earlier on. On the chart here, here's that trough coming northwestward here, and warmer air sliding northward a little bit, mixing the snow with rain there at the Homer area. Still in the upper 20s at Seward though, and light snow occurring much of the day. Valdez, Prince William Sound, most of the Copper River Basin, and that light snow spreading northward to about Eagle, at least the clouds anyway. And again, some very light mixed precipitation occurring over the Panhandle, but nothing that significant. Mostly dry, or it was dry over the southern areas there. Clear and cold here all the way up to the Arctic coast. This weakening band of moisture here keeping light snow going along the southwest coast. Mixed precipitation for the Alaska Peninsula. And this front bringing a band of rain eastward there, exiting Adak and Atka, pushing in toward the eastern Aleutians with the strong winds with that still rather deep low center there, 942 millibars at midday today, right around the Shemya Attu area in toward Atka, or in toward Amchitka Island there. And the storm force winds gusting as high, well, upwards 80 miles per hour earlier. And for tonight, that slowly fills, weakens, doesn't move too much, drifts east a little bit here. A new low forms along that front, moves to about this position here, right near Adak and Atka. So periods of rain there into the eastern Aleutians. Southeast flow ahead of that increases the moisture, keeps it wet here over the Alaska Peninsula. Some of that starts to push in toward Kodiak Island. Still some lingering light snow showers or flurries after midnight tonight here for the southwest coast. Area snow over the southern interior areas here down in toward Cook Inlet, especially Kenai Peninsula, Prince William Sound into areas of the Copper River Basin. That's where the heaviest snowfall will be expected, tapering off over toward Yakutat. Dry for the southeast coast, dry for the northern valleys here up across the Brooks Range to the Arctic coast. Then for Monday, an area of snow right through here with a trough from Kotzebue Sound, Selawik, maybe the western Kobuk Valley down across the Yukon River into the Yukon Delta, St. Lawrence Island. Otherwise, occasionally wet here on the Alaska Peninsula in toward the eastern Aleutians near that frontal boundary there. Chance of increasing light rain at times for the Kodiak Island area, along with a little bit of a pickup in the east-southeast winds, and maybe some light rain and snow for the southern Kenai Peninsula, but generally a drier day over south central Alaska tomorrow, and dry for the Copper River Basin tomorrow afternoon on up into the Tanana Valley with some areas of clouds in that area, probably losing them there from the Yukon Flats to the Arctic coast. Another clear day coming up there for the Brooks Range out to the Arctic Ocean and clearing. Pretty nice day tomorrow for the Panhandle from Yakutat on down toward Dixon Entrance. Still unsettled and damp here out over the Aleutians, but a lot less wind with this low center here as that gradient slackens, but winds on the increase. They're staying very windy here north of that frontal boundary, and that continues into the Tuesday time frame. Gusty winds here, that low center drifting eastward there, and with this front just lifting northward there, look for gale force winds in areas all the way up to St. Lawrence Island, and rain and snow down along the southwest coast into the Kodiak Island area. Mostly dry or dry conditions. Still a chance of some light moisture here in the southern Kenai Peninsula, but Cook Inlet, Manusquit, and the Valley Copper River Basin all the way up to the Arctic coast. Dry with some fair amounts of clearing in some areas. Tighter gradient here over the Panhandle with this low center drifting eastward here, and then the big Arctic high over the northwest Canada. Look for gale force winds in over the northern Panhandle there out of the north and Lynn Canal, northeast, and pretty windy conditions even down over the southern areas, but all the moisture, at least at this point in time, looks like it'll stay south of probably even Dixon entrance. Lows tonight, 15 to 20 for the northern Panhandle, upper 20s near 30 to the south. Back below zero, but not as far below, with the moisture increasing here as that southerly flow pulls it northward there, but still anywhere from 15 to 25 below, all the way up to the Brooks Range area and portions of the North Slope. Otherwise, teens and 20s, south central Alaska, mid-30s for Kodiak Island, in the 30s here for the Aleutians and the Bering Sea, and 5 below to 5 above for the Seward Peninsula into the Yukon Delta. And the highs for tomorrow, lower 40s for the Aleutians and near 40 for the Pribilofs, lower 20s St. Lawrence Island, and a little milder tomorrow here, but still generally below zero, but not quite as far below for the eastern interior areas. And right around zero here in the central part of the state, teens, Seward Peninsula on the south side at Nome, single numbers on the north side to Kotzebue, and mid-30s Nome near 40 for Kodiak, and lower 40s for the Alaska Peninsula. Highs in the 20s in northern Panhandle, and 35 to 40 down to the south. Highs for Bristol Bay on Tuesday morning, 35 to 40 there, about the same for Kodiak, mid to upper 30s for the Alaska Peninsula, in the 30s there for all of the Aleutians, Pribilofs, teens for St. Lawrence Island, highs 5 below to 10 above for the Seward Peninsula, or I should say lows, and anywhere from 10 to 25 below for the eastern interior and the North Slope. And then the highs on Tuesday afternoon, below zero over the eastern interior, near zero in the central part of the state, 2 below for McGrath, lower 40s for Kodiak, and 20s here for south central Alaska, mid-20s for the northern Panhandle, and lower 40s down to the south.